Hi everyone, this is Zelenka and welcome to my podcast where we explore the wisdom of those around us. What is spiritual need? How to manage your energy? How to encourage people to make their own impact? We sat down with Latha Sukumar, CEO of MCIS Language Solutions, to listen to her answers to these questions.
I mean, you talked about how do you keep people motivated and energized, and it's that social purpose. If you just give them business targets to reach, then they're saying, what's the difference? I mean, just a little more money, and how am I making a change?
Right.
And especially with young people, the millennials, I find that they are looking for purpose. They're looking for fulfillment. They want to make sure that they achieve it in two ways. One is in terms of excellence, in terms of how they deliver their work. So if they do something really high quality, they feel fulfilled. And if you keep encouraging them to do that with positive reinforcement, they are delighted. But the other thing is the social purpose part. Because
contributing to something.
Yeah, contributing to something greater than themselves, to making an impact. So
Where do you think that comes from?
I think most of us have this spiritual need. In spiritual terms, we always feel like we're lacking something, and that's because we feel separated from each other, and we have individual identities and we want to connect really badly. And so we go after things in the external world to try and fulfill us, but often find that it doesn't fulfill us. So then we look to our inside, and sometimes it's that sense of purpose or striving for something that is greater than us, and that's much more than fulfilling an immediate need to fulfill a desire that we have. That's in all of us. It's burning in all of us, and it's much more enduring. I think if you focus on immediate gains and financial gains, then you will burn employees out, you lose them very quickly. But if you give them an enduring ideal to aspire to, then they will stay interested and connected, and they'll contribute to that in a great way. And I find that very true of young people, especially now.
It's an amazing explanation. I love it.
Well, one question I've got about that though, have you ever had to help them understand that? Because I can relate. I am a millennial myself, right?
Yeah.
So the that feeling of needing to have an impact is crucial. I mean,
Right.
but it's almost become a buzzword that these people, they go out into the world, they want to make an impact, and they want to quit their job after 6 months because they're not making an impact. It's like, well, you've been here for 6 months. Like, how much of an impact can you hope to make?
Right.
Managing that sort of that expectation that they have of themselves, because I feel, and I'm speaking from personal experience actually, that you're very susceptible to burnout when you don't understand how that dynamic works. Right? Have you encountered that?
Simple answer to that, and it actually came up in our conversation today, is it's not about time management but energy management. So one of the first things you need to do is manage people's physical energy, and for that you need to have good working conditions. You need to make people feel like they belong, so they come to a happy place, which means you give them breaks, you don't overwork them to death, and you also have a sense of they should feel entitled to take those breaks and so on. So you don't overwhelm them, give them tasks that they feel really challenged with and that they don't feel supported with.
Right.
That's one. The second thing is emotionally, you have to keep validating people. And so if they do something that strives for a higher purpose, reinforce them positively. So one of the things that we do at our office is we have a goal that everybody in our office volunteers for 8 hours next year at any cause that they feel that they want to contribute to. But then we say to them, we will give you a dollar amount for doing this volunteering. So we are basically sponsoring that volunteer activity. So then we feel like when they go out there, they will get the intrinsic value of actually contributing, and they won't do it so much for the money, but that we give them the money is recognition that we acknowledge what they're contributing to. So you have to keep innovating. Like you're absolutely right. You have to keep sustaining it. You have to keep reinforcing. But more than anything, as a leader, you have to model the behavior. You have to not be a money grabber. You should not be looking for that next raise. I haven't had a raise in years. I can afford it. I feel bad sometimes because and I will say to people, I won't say to them that they shouldn't strive for money. And if people want to leave, then, be my guest. I will give you a great reference. Be happy. I'm happy to have contributed to your growth up to this point. You don't try to keep them against their will. But keep looking
or against yours.
Against ours.
Yeah.
But keep looking at ways in which you can develop people. Try to promote internally rather than go out and fill positions. Manifest behavior that makes them feel a sense of belonging, and then they will contribute as you want them to make that impact. Okay. So it's ongoing work. Sure. It's like working at a marriage, if you're married.
Not yet.
You are.
Beautifully said. And today we had a nice talk about how to be a good leader. And we also mentioned how to work with millennials. Yeah. Also, we covered how to embrace new innovations and technology. Any tips for future leaders?
So in terms of the technology piece, I think it's the elephant in the room, or not. Like, we're all talking about it, but I don't know that we have fully understood the impact that it's going to have in terms of our changing role. So I think we need to demystify it as much as possible. We need to keep confronting the reality of it and not say, oh, we've said that technology is going to change the world, but we then don't do anything about changing it. I think Patrick said that nicely. Yeah. So we stop using buzzwords and actually doing things that'll help us embrace that technology, right? And it's frightening. And I think as a leader, I have to be committed to continuous learning as well. I can't expect my staff to learn and grow and adopt new technology if I'm not willing to open myself to that challenge. And it's a big challenge for me, I have to tell you. So it's slow coming, but yeah, it has to come. The larger philosophy in life is never resist. Accept, be grateful, and just embrace.
Accept everything. What is
right?
coming. Yeah.
It works. If you try to push something onto somebody, and if you resist taking a decision, it never works out.
Yeah. It's in the business, family
it's
relationships, in life.
Everything, yeah.
I agree.
Just give up resistance. I think what we are trying to do at my office is, for many years, MCIS Language Solutions was me. And the reason for that is because I was sort of the face of the organization going everywhere. And I had to really make a conscious effort to step back from that. And I always tried to do it, but somehow, because we weren't too many people and I was the spokesperson, that I came to be associated. And I have actually tried really hard in the last 2 years to devolve those functions and to create leaders at the next level of succession, and for them to take over my role. So I go into the office every day with the thinking that I have to coach this person in this situation that I'm handling right now, because they will be handling it in the future, because that's the only way you succeed. And a lot of times I find organizations fail because the CEO is holding that control because of some insecurity, and they don't want to let go. And what I want to do is tell people, no, it's not such a hard job, and here's things that you can do, or techniques, and consciously build those leadership skills in people.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening to this interview. This podcast is about sharing the inspirational sides of people we know in the hopes that it motivates you to explore yours. If you like it, feel free to share it and let us know. And if you don't, we would love to hear why.